goalie?
Fedotov.
And any lineup changes tonight?
No.
I know Couturier, I think, had a maintenance day yesterday. He's good to go?
He is.
Okay.
Yesterday, when we were talking to John, he mentioned that some of the guys had been on the ice, like Danny Briere and John Leclerc, to go over the power play. Where do you see the power play now, and how have they been maybe helping to move it in the right direction?
Yeah, so we got Patrick Sharp, Danny Heatley, and Johnny Leclerc. So they were out with us, and it's something that I've been in communication with. These are all guys that were specialists during their careers and a great resource. And I've talked to them over the summers and stuff. So I thought it was good for them to get on the ice, good for our players as well. Sometimes it's position-specific stuff that our guys want to talk to or that they're seeing. When I'm working with them, I don't always see everything. Obviously, especially when we're practicing, you're looking at so many different moving parts. So that was the focus when we were out there, is to help the guys. And when they see something, you know, those coaching staff part, that they can identify right away and help the guys through it during practice. I think where our power play is at, it's been kind of dwindling here lately. We had a good start to the year. I think a little bit snake bitten at times. We haven't had many power plays. We haven't had a lot of practice. And so we're going into some games, we only get one. And we don't take advantage of that one. And then you don't get any kind of reps or momentum. And then again, when there's a little bit less practice, we've been doing the best we can. That when we do practice, we're always doing power play. And so that's been a little bit of a challenge here, I would say, in the last 10 games. There just hasn't been much volume on the power play for us to get in a groove and kind of get going. But I think our guys are playing well in general. So that's kind of where that's at right at this moment.
Do you think, I know you've had Emil at the point, and you had Jamie at one point, and you had Zamula, and now you have Travis. Do you think some of it is the different people in different positions, maybe at the point at least, that's causing some of the disconnect, or is it just like you said, snake bitten right now?
It's hard to tell because, you know, Jamie got injured, and so other guys are getting opportunity to see who could take that step. Zamula was out of the lineup for extended games, so it's hard to have guys on your power play when some nights they may not be playing in. And same thing with Emil at times as well. So Sandy's played so well, we felt like that's something that we should, you know, reward his play and his effort with opportunity in that situation, and to see how he would do with it. He's played so confidently, and perhaps, again, it's hard to tell. For me, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we just haven't had many power plays. And so it's hard for us to critique when you get one power play a night, because you'll see that teams get one power play a night. It's hard to get going on it. And we've had a couple of good looks at times on those power plays. And you know, like against Carolina, we had a number of good looks. That was the last kind of time that we had some momentum going into it. And there were some big saves made during that. So hopefully we get going again and get a little bit of momentum so that guys can be confident when they go into those situations.
The low number of power plays, is that kind of a fluky thing, or do you think you guys can do more to maybe draw some penalties? Like, how does that work in your mind?
No, I think it's an advantage for us, because usually it means we're not giving up many penalties as well. And so our 5-on-5 game is improving, and you'll see over the last 10 games, those special teams have been low. I believe it's an advantage for us because our power play isn't as strong as some. We've faced the top 10 penalty kills in the league, even in the top 5 when you look at it with the Rangers and Nashville, and now we're going to face Florida tonight, and they're really good. They're 10th in the league, but they've scored 7 shorthanded goals. So when you think of the goals they've given up and the goals that they've scored, they're probably the best penalty kill in the league from an aggregate perspective. So it's been a challenge for us, but I think, like I said, that plays to our advantage because our 5-on-5 game is good and positive, and we're able to get those goals scored in those situations. So,
with Michkov specifically, you know, John has said that, you know, he just wants to let him play and kind of let him be himself and not micromanage him too much. But is he the kind of player that will come to you with questions and try to take that initiative, or does he just kind of learn best by doing, and you have to just let him do that?
Almost never will he come to you with a question because of the language factor. But believe it or not, a little bit he has. During the game, comes off the ice, he'll in broken English, like it might be on the back check. He's making a concerted effort to try and be better without the puck. And like you said, we don't want to, or Torts had said, we don't want to be in his ear too much, because that can be stifling, and that can also hurt the positives in his game. So it's a patient process with Meech, and it's hard on him. You got to put yourself in his shoes. He doesn't understand what you're saying half the time, maybe more than half the time. So it's just little pieces at a time, so it's not overwhelming. And we've already seen improvement, and a concerted part on him, his effort to be better in those situations. So we're happy with where the progress is going.
There was an interview with former NHLer Evgeny Kuznetsov, who said that that's just kind of the Russian way, is to not ask questions at all, because it kind of shows, maybe a sign of weakness, so that you're not understanding. In your experience, is that kind of the Russian way of approaching things?
You know what? I've worked with a lot of Russian players, Mikhail Sergachev when he was young, and it was the identical situation to Meech, is that he didn't speak the language. And so it was a process for the first couple of months in Windsor. And it was great. And I never had that experience. Once they understood what was being said, they were very coachable. And I loved working with Sergachev, and specifically is you could be hard on him at times in a respectful way, and they'd respond to it, which was great. And so they were very coachable. And I see the same things in Meech, and I'm encouraged at the fact that now he's starting to learn a little bit more, he's starting to understand a little bit more, and you're seeing that on the ice in a positive direction.
Have you noticed, Owen Tippett the other day said that when Michkov gets on a breakaway, everyone stands up on the bench. Have you noticed him just kind of having a knack for big moments? It seems like he really wants the puck on his stick when it's a big moment.
100%. Good offensive players. That is what they're like. They want to be the guy on the ice. But there's a reason why he scores goals in the situation. Just watch him in practice. He's not warming up our goalies. He is focusing in on, perfecting his execution in those situations. And so when he's in those situations, he has a higher level of execution than some players who don't necessarily put in that type of focus during practice. He is out there every single day looking to score goals in certain areas. He's practicing that, so it becomes an unconscious thing when he gets in that moment.
How exciting is it for you to see Travis connect with Travis Sanheim being Canada's Four Nations roster?
I'm really happy for both of them. I think it's really well deserved. They've worked extremely hard, and quite frankly, if you look at our team right now, those two have really put the team on their back in certain situations. And I think this is, and the way that they play is going to be a complement in those situations. They're not necessarily power play players when you compare them to the guys on that team, but they are going to be such a help. They're very hard to play against in their own ways. They're so good 5-on-5, outstanding penalty killers, and they bring offense in those situations. So we're very excited for them. And proud of them.
One or two more. I believe it with Samuel Erickson, I'm sure it's Kim Delabaugh's decision along with John and the medical folks, but how's he doing? I see him out here. Was this more just to maybe give him one more game and not push him back?
I don't even ask.
Okay.
I thought he looked good out there too. Yeah, just to my vision, but I don't ask.